March 1996. Inside PepsiCo headquarters, a clerk opens a baffling envelope. Inside, a cashier's check for $708.50, stapled to a folded Pepsi Stuff order form. At the bottom, scrawled in naive pencil handwriting, is a request for one specific item: a Harrier fighter jet. Hours later, panicked Pepsi attorneys stare at a check from a customer who, according to the literal words of their own catalogue, just legally bought a military attack aircraft. The buyer is John Leonard. He isn't a billionaire. He's a 21-year-old broke college student. He has no money and zero flight experience. But what he does have is a cheap calculator and a devastating mathematical observation that completely bypassed Pepsi's $2 billion marketing department. This legal absurdity will force a mega corporation into a relentless, asymmetric war. PepsiCo will burn through $2 million in legal fees just to stop one kid. The battle will escalate to a Manhattan federal court, culminating in a 1999 ruling that permanently alters American television commercials for the next 30 years. So how did a student use basic math to corner America's largest beverage empire? And how did Pepsi's own lawyers humiliatingly argue in writing that their multi-million-dollar ad campaign was just a joke? The year is 1995. The global beverage market operates as a relentless corporate battleground. The theatre of conflict centres on two colossal entities, Pepsi and Coca-Cola. The primary objective is consumer loyalty. To gain a tactical advantage, Pepsi launches a massive, multi-million-dollar promotional offensive, the Pepsi Stuff campaign. The logistical premise is straightforward. Consumers purchase physical beverages, collect numerical points printed directly on the product packaging, and exchange them for merchandise through an official catalogue. To amplify the campaign and ensure maximum market penetration, Pepsi broadcasts a highly produced television commercial. The visual sequence depicts a teenage student preparing for school. He wears various pieces of promotional merchandise. The final shot displays a monumental cinematic spectacle. The student arrives at his high school campus piloting an AV-8B Harrier Jump Jet, a highly advanced tactical vertical takeoff and landing aircraft utilized strictly by the United States military. The jet lands forcefully outside the school, displacing bicycles and fences with simulated thrust. The screen cuts to a definitive graphic. The text reads, "Harrier Fighter, 7 million Pepsi points." Observe the screen carefully during this broadcast. There is no asterisk. There is no fine print rapidly scrolling at the bottom. There is no legal disclaimer indicating that this sequence is a fictional exaggeration. John Leonard, a 21-year-old business student, analyzes this broadcast differently than the general public. He does not perceive a comedic sequence. He perceives a legally binding, unilateral offer. Leonard acquires the official physical catalogue. On page 17, he discovers a fatal structural anomaly in the promotion's legal architecture. The rules dictate that a consumer must possess a minimum of 15 physical points collected directly from beverage packaging. However, if the consumer lacks the total points required, they can purchase the remaining points directly from Pepsi using standard currency. The established exchange rate is printed clearly, exactly 10 cents per point. Leonard calculates the variables. The mathematics are flawless. The tactical jet requires 7 million points. He subtracts his 15 physical points. This leaves a deficit of 6,999,985 points. Multiplied by 10 cents, the total capital required to acquire the aircraft is exactly $700,000. The market value of a military-grade Harrier aircraft in 1995 is approximately $33.8 million. For $700,000, Leonard realizes he can legally extract a $33 million defense asset. It is an arbitrage opportunity of unprecedented scale, manufactured entirely by a corporate oversight. Leonard lacks the required capital. He approaches Todd Hoffman, a wealthy private investor and seasoned entrepreneur. Leonard presents the commercial, the catalog rules, and the mathematical breakdown. The logic is impenetrable. The terms are printed in permanent ink by the corporation's own legal division. Hoffman evaluates the financial risk, calculates the potential return, and agrees to fund the operation with a certified bank check for exactly $700,000. Leonard executes the maneuver. He packages the check alongside 15 physical Pepsi caps and the official mail-in order form. In the item description box, he writes a single, audacious demand: 1 Harrier jet. He sends the package via certified mail directly to corporate headquarters. It bypasses the standard mailroom and lands on the desks of the legal department. Absolute shock takes hold of the executive hierarchy. They realize the immense magnitude of the marketing oversight. The corporation attempts an immediate tactical retreat. They reject the order, returning the $700,000 check to Leonard. To resolve the situation quietly, they include a formal apology and coupons for free beverages. They attempt to classify the commercial as a harmless, humorous exaggeration. Leonard rejects the coupons. He retains formidable legal counsel and demands the physical fulfillment of the aircraft. He argues that Pepsi made a public, unrestricted offer, and he successfully accepted it according to their exact published directives. Pepsi understands the severe existential danger. The printed catalogue and broadcast commercial essentially constitute a formal offer of a unilateral contract. Facing a $33 million liability and absolute public humiliation, the corporation executes a preemptive legal strike. Pepsi officially files a lawsuit against John Leonard in a New York federal court, asking a judge to declare his claim entirely invalid. The conflict escapes the sterile environment of the courtroom and enters the national broadcast grid. The media amplifies the confrontation. The spectacle reaches the highest echelons of the national defense infrastructure. The Pentagon issues a formal public statement regarding the situation. Department of Defense officials clarify that active tactical aircraft are never distributed to civilian personnel. The military states that the Harrier jet would require complete demilitarization, the permanent removal of all advanced avionics and tactical capabilities before any hypothetical transfer could ever occur. The legal machinery grinds forward. The year is 1999. Federal Judge Kimber Wood delivers the final mandate. The court rules definitively in favor of the corporation, dismantling Leonard's claim by utilizing three unshakable legal pillars. First, a television commercial generally does not constitute a binding legal contract. It is legally classified as a solicitation of offers. The physical catalogue was the actual offer mechanism, and the jet was not explicitly listed within its pages. Second, the judge applies the objective, reasonable person standard. The court dictates that no rational individual would genuinely believe a multinational beverage corporation would trade a sophisticated military aircraft for the price of a standard residential home. The commercial is formally classified as puffery, a hyperbolic exaggeration utilized exclusively for promotional effect. Third, the court invokes the statute of frauds. This legal doctrine requires a formalized, signed written agreement for the transfer of goods exceeding a specific financial threshold. Pepsi never signed a document promising the tactical aircraft. The case is entirely dismissed. John Leonard loses the lawsuit. He does not receive the aircraft. He does not receive a financial settlement. However, he inflicts a massive, permanent humiliation upon the corporate marketing division. The beverage giant spends approximately $2 million in elite legal fees. They expend a massive amount of capital and corporate energy simply to legally prove to the world that they were making a joke. The corporation immediately alters the commercial. The revised broadcast continues to display the Harrier jet. However, the required point total jumps from 7 million to 700 million. More importantly, a new, distinct line of text appears at the bottom of the screen. Just kidding. The legacy of this singular event stretches far beyond a single corporate boardroom. It permanently rewrites the architecture of the American advertising industry. From that moment forward, visual media changes. The landscape of corporate promotion transforms. Whenever you observe a commercial featuring a flying vehicle, an impossible physical stunt, or a fictional hyperbole, you will notice a microscopic string of text scrolling rapidly at the bottom of the screen. It is the fine print, the legal shield, a direct consequence of a 21-year-old student applying absolute logic to an illogical system. He exposed a critical flaw in the machinery of modern advertising. Evaluate the variables of this historical event. Is John Leonard a brilliant visionary who identified a flawless, systematic error in a corporate structure? Or is he merely an opportunist attempting to exploit an obvious comedic exaggeration for immense financial gain? State your assessment in the comments section below. Engage the like button and subscribe to track our ongoing investigations into the world's most significant structural anomalies and corporate conflicts.